All right. I'm having to use a different software to record this segment, this podcast. Um, my name is Alan C. I'm the CEO of New Kingdom Entertainment. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I do know a lot of things, but I don't know everything. I'm a work in progress. Uh, this is my podcast, Be Quiet, Grown Folks is Talking. Uh, I had to do this real quick because tomorrow this is going to blow up, and I wanted to speak to it before that happened because I basically addressed this issue a while back when an older lady, got her arm broken at a police station in Queens, and it struck me then back then that all the people that attacked this woman just for recording in a public space were black. And I was noticing even before then that there's been a lot of videos where black people's rights have been violated, and the people violating their rights have been black people. People that are clueless, don't know their jobs, don't know the law. They just basically don't know what they're doing. Um, but we're the ones who's paying the price for it. Like I know being a police officer, being a teacher, being a fireman is a hard job, but that's what you signed up for. If you're a policeman and you're a law enforcement officer and you don't know the laws, and you're scared of people, you have no business being a police officer. Same thing with being a teacher. If you're a teacher and you don't know the laws, you don't know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, and your primary purpose is not to children, you just worried about covering your behind, you don't need to be a teacher. Find another job. Same thing with being a fireman. All these three jobs are calling. You have to be a person who wanted to do this. Like, you wanted to be a police officer all your life. You wanted to be a fireman all your life. You wanted to be a teacher because you wanted to protect and serve. You wanted to serve your fellow man. Then if you can't do that, if you can't perform that job, then you need to find another job. Uh, Public service it's a thing where you have public services that think public servants who think that they can tell us what to do, and they have powers over us that they don't. And the reality of the situation is they work for us, we don't work for them. And it seems to be like you have a lot of people in these jobs who have an attitude about doing their job, like, and have basically having a job. So I don't understand why they don't find another job. You don't have to be a police officer, you don't have to be a fireman, you don't have to be a teacher. There's other work out there. And if you can't deal with people and the public, if you have a problem with the public holding you accountable, videotaping you when you're performing your job, then you need to find another job. Real simple. Now, saying all that, I'm gonna play this video. Ari Milbank, he's covering this thing. It is incredible that you have 5 black police officers are charged with murder right now because they beat a young black man to death. They are cowards, straight like that. And I'm gonna go into more of that after this video. But if if the video comes out tomorrow and shows what I think it's going to show, it is going to be horrendous. And I'm itching to see what people are going to do, because my thing, I don't care what color they are. If you're paid to do a job and you're paid to serve, protect, and you're beating people to death, it's something wrong with that. Like we are becoming our own oppressors, and it is insane. So watch this video, and then I'll opine further after it.
Murder charges have been issued today for all 5 Memphis police officers, now relieved of duty, former officers, for the beating death of Tyre Nichols. Those former officers are also now in custody. The people you see on your screen, now in civilian clothing, booked and incarcerated, awaiting what would be a murder trial. They are charged with killing this individual through a knowing state of mind, and all 5, and we'll explain the legalities of this, accused of contributing directly to the death. This is Justin Smith, Emmett Martin, Desmond Mills Jr., Demetrius Haley, and Tadarius Bean. There are other charges in addition to the most serious charge of murder, aggravated assault, and kidnapping. This is a case that has roiled Memphis and the rest of the nation, and in some ways, while it involves the tragic death of Tyre Nichols, it is also a case, as we'll explore tonight, that shows how some law enforcement responses to law enforcement killings are changing. He died 3 days after being pulled over for what was something that shouldn't have been a violent interaction at all, alleged reckless driving. The DA now revealing more about what was a confrontation where Nichols apparently fled on foot and feared for his life. There was a second confrontation then with this violent beating. And this is what he looked like in the hospital. This is a tough photo to look at. I mentioned this when we first discussed this last night with Maya Wiley and in our coverage. But this is a photo that his family put out precisely because they were concerned at the time about his health. This was before he died, and about the law enforcement response. This was after the January 7th traffic stop. He died 3 days later. As for the news today and what is the relatively rare charge still across all of America, the rare charge of officers facing accusations of murder, well, here's the DA today.
Each of the 5 individuals played a different role in the incident in question. The actions of all of them resulted in the death of Tyre Nichols, and they are all responsible. All responsible,
and all responsible legally. The DA now moving forward with what will be murder trials for 5 people. Now, the body camera footage and video will be released, they say, tomorrow. There was a kind of an order to this. The charges announced before this video, whatever is on it, and we have information from the family about their view of it, before that hits the world and Memphis tomorrow. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's director said this today.
I'm shocked. I'm sickened by what I saw and what we've learned through our extensive and thorough investigation. I've seen the video, and as DA Morley stated, you will too. In a word, it's absolutely appalling.
Appalling. And these are law enforcement professionals who have seen their share of difficult material. We've also heard from the family, as mentioned, about how they viewed this. And if you're watching this and noticing that this is different, I will tell you, as a matter of law, precedent, and recent news, it is very different. We're going to get into that tonight. How, in other cases, we have heard over and over from many law enforcement professionals, current and former, and many police unions, that you can't do it like this, that it takes months, sometimes years, to conduct these investigations, that you can't release the video right away. And while there are times that this is potentially complicated, and there are certainly factors that go into any difficult investigation revolving around a death, Memphis is showing that they're doing it differently than they and many other places used to. Now, the Memphis police chief spoke out very starkly about this alleged conduct. Again, we don't have the video yet, but what is now the conduct underlying murder charges. And the police chief was very clear about this in terminating the officers. But we should also note that the chief was not present in this dramatic and important press conference today. She did say about the video which she has viewed that she thought it was, the conduct showed by those ex-officers, heinous, quote, reckless, and quote, inhumane. Here's what we heard from the family's lawyer.
He was a human pinata for those police officers. It was an unadulterated, unabashed, nonstop beating of this young boy for 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
That was just some of that obviously difficult presentation. There is a separate and open federal investigation. The rarity here would seem to be significant. The action was far more swift than the vast majority of police brutality cases we've covered, both in the Deep South as well as around the nation. And we're going to get into all of it with more than one expert, but I begin with someone that we call on when we look at these cases, whether there's action or inaction, a former NYPD police detective, Mark Claxton, who also now directs the Black Law Enforcement Alliance. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Ari.
Let's start with the case against these officers. That is the big news tonight. And then I want to broaden out to some of what I've mentioned. The DA making it clear that they view the evidence that they have, which has not yet been released, as sufficient to support the serious charge of murder, as well as the culpability of all 5 officers, the contributions legally that they made to this very tragic death that grew out of a police traffic stop. Your response to that case based on what we know?
I think it should be evident to all of us that whatever is on the video, and as you indicated, we'll see it shortly, perhaps tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, must be very clear and convincing enough for 2 separate assessments of law enforcement professionals to speak so boldly and be so offended by what they had witnessed and be motivated enough to actually rapidly begin a prosecution and arrest.
Okay. These 5 police officers, and I don't give a damn what their color is. They are straight cowards. They are straight up cowards. Nobody should have to die for a traffic stop, for a minor traffic stop, a minor ticket. They beat this boy to death. 5 cowards. The reality of the situation is police officers today are being trained to be cowards, bullies, tyrants. They are trained to do it. There's so many videos out there. And like I said, this is not new. This is like, this been going on, is just not being told and people are not really speaking about it. And I'm like, what happened to this kid? If the video was going to show what I think is going to show, is no different than what happened to George Floyd. It is a straight murder by the state, by people hired to protect you, are murdering you. And everybody, it seems to be okay because no one's doing nothing about it. No one's even really saying a whole lot about it. Every now and then when one of these things jump off, you know, you get all this, you're gonna, like tomorrow is probably gonna be bananas. It's probably gonna be bananas. And I'm like, after what happened to George Floyd, like you had all this, they was making all this noise, they was doing all this marching and all this protesting, and then it just went away. As always, it's like it's crickets. It was all good just a week ago. And I'm so tired of this. I had a situation recently with my son, you know, he had a problem in school and I went to pick him up. And the school administrators actually tried not to give him to me, talking about they had policies and procedures. I don't know what they thought they were going to do. They were going to make him confess or right. I don't know what they, but my point is, once I showed up, there should be no question. When I say, give me my son, they should have gave me my son, but that's not what they did. That's not what they did. Actually, they did the opposite. And my son had to actually get up and come to me in order for us to get up out that building and get away from whatever craziness they were trying to pull. And once again, all the people involved with this was Black. And I'm noticing it all the time. You have Black folks that are public officials and working for the MTA, working for the police, working for the schools, who think they have powers that they don't have, who don't understand that they are public service and they work for the public. They work for you and me. We don't work for them. But they talk like the principal of my son's school. She talks to people and treat people like they're her subjects, like she's the queen or something. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because she got that doctor in front of her name that she thinks that she has, control over people and powers that she doesn't have. So she actually basically was illegally imprisoning my son, holding him. It basically was a kidnapping, just like they said about the cop. They're going to charge these cops with kidnapping. Because when you hold when you hold a person illegally, that's imprisonment, that's kidnapping. You can't do that. I don't care who you are, police or nobody else. And we have to stop allowing our rights to be violated. Yes, I understand the Constitution was not meant for us, but guess what? We can use that same Constitution to protect ourselves if we know what it says and we know what the laws mean. Because it's a damn shame you have teachers who should be teaching our children about the laws that don't know the laws. You have police officers that are enforcing the laws that don't know, that's forced the law, that don't know the law, don't understand the Constitution that they swore an oath to. It is beyond frustrating. Sometimes I say, like I have too much information. Like I said, I don't know everything, but I know a lot of things, and I keep up on current events and what's going on in this world. And sometimes that's a problem because it causes me stress because I'm watching this foolishness going on, and I'm raising two children that's going to have to deal with this nonsense, and I have to prepare them to deal with this world that's going crazy. Left is right, right is left, up is down, down is up. You have politicians that lie. Oh my God, they lie every time they open their damn mouth. We had a president that was a liar. Every time he opened his mouth, he told a lie. Now, I know all politicians lie. I know all politicians are crooked, but some are a hell of a lot worse than others. And the bottom line is we have to find people that are not going to hurt us, that's not going to disrespect us, that are not going to violate our rights. And we have to stop this nonsense. Like when we see it in the street, we seeing somebody being violated. We can't stand there and let that happen. I don't care if it's the police or who it is. It doesn't matter. Like, we have to stop the madness, because this is madness. What these guys did to this, and it's like a lot of these southern cities now have Black people running them. Black people are all in the government, or like you take Atlanta, and Atlanta right now is probably one of the worst places where Black people are getting violated. And the people that are violating the Black people in Atlanta are Black, We are becoming our own oppressors. Like I don't understand when people think we have black folks that think it's all right for other people and the government to kill us because we kill each other. Like they don't understand all races kill each other. You tend to rob and steal and murder the people that you live around. That's life. That's how it goes. And that's what it is. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying that it's okay that we kill each other, but we don't need no extra. We doing enough to each other. We don't need to be all right with somebody else doing it. That doesn't even make any sense to me. That is just retarded to say, okay, so we're killing each other, so they can just come on and kill us too. So that's just, more killings, more of us dead. And that's okay. I'm just gonna see what's gonna happen tomorrow. I'm gonna see what's gonna say. I'm gonna see who's gonna speak out. I'm gonna see the black pundits that are going to cover this in the right way and speak to it in the correct fashion. We have to do something about it, man. We can't it's so much worse when our own are doing it under the color of law, under the protection of the government. It is so hideous and so corrupt. We can't keep allowing this to happen. And for me, I'm an older person, so I mean, there's probably not a whole lot that I can do physically, but I can keep on talking about this, which I will. I'm going to be talking about it more in depth. And if I see something in the street, I hope I don't, but when I do, and if I do, and when I have stepped to it, and I'm going to continue to step to it. Like, I'm not going to sit there. That's why I was a fireman. I could have become a police officer, but one of the reasons why I didn't is because I knew, like, no one out of them 5 clowns thought to say, yo, let's not do this. Let's not beat this man like this. Let's not murder him. None of them. Five of them. Out of 5 of them. Like, where was the good cop? There don't seem to be any good cops, or very, very few good cops. Because if they're good cops, if there were a lot more good cops, there wouldn't be so many bad cops. And I see too many police officers violating people's rights every day, all day. The videos are all over the internet. You can't miss them. If you don't know what's going on, now, if you've never experienced, because I have throughout my life, I've been violated on several occasions early on in my life, and I didn't really actually know what was going on or what I could do about it or what I couldn't do about it. But I know now. There's always something you can do about it. You don't have to be treated badly by people that you pay their salaries. Because if you're paying taxes, you pay, and everybody pays taxes. Whether you pay income tax or not is one thing, but everybody pays taxes because every time you go to the store or you buy something, you pay taxes. So everybody pays taxes. And those taxes go to these people's salary for them to shit on you and violate you. Doesn't make any sense. And I always say, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. With that, I'm out.